Welcome to the Styrian Mountains. Welcome to the Red Bull Ring. Welcome to the penultimate round of the ADAC GT4 Germany Championship 2024. And what a season this is turning out to be. We've just enjoyed a DTM race and we've just enjoyed an excellent ADAC GT Masters race. We are on the road to DTM. The winner of the championship in the ADAC GT4 Germany getting funding to move into GT Masters, the winner in GT Masters getting funding to get into DTM in the following year. So the road to DTM very much alive and kicking. Also very much alive and kicking is the Driver Championship with Mikael Stray and Gabriel Piana leading Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp by 38 points. But the headline today, Jan Marszałkowski starting on pole position. It was a fantastic qualifying session this morning, and I had to double check this. A first ever pole position for Jan Marszałkowski after 32 races. He's had 3 wins in ADAC GT4 Germany, but the first time he started on pole position, I believe, first time he started on pole position in any kart race. So really solid qualifying from Jan Marszałkowski this morning, and he has Simon Birch for company on the front of the grid. Ivan Ekelschik, he had a good solid qualifying as well, looking to repeat what was his first ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany along with co-driver Ferdinand Winter. That was at the Nürburgring in conditions that are were very similar to what we are experiencing today. But we need to keep an eye on car number 31 because Josef Knopp, along with Finn Zulauf, have proven to be very quick here. The Porsches very dialed in. We've got Simon Birch in second on the grid, Ivan Ekelschik third, and Josef Knopp in fourth place in the Porsches, which are very fast. And then championship leader Gabriel Piana lines up next on the grid. So well within range of the drivers at the front, but with a bit of work to do. We'll have the championship very much in mind. Mikael Stray, Gabriel Piana, as already said, leading Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp by 38 points. There are 100 points still available this season. If Piana and Stray could win the championship this weekend, if they were to win race 1, everyone from Max Rosam and Leighton Fury downwards are out. Rosam and Leighton Fury are currently in 5th place in the championship. But for that to happen, Piana and Stray would need to win this race. And there are some very quick drivers ahead of them in the ADAC GT4 Germany. It's a home race for Wimmer Werk as well. And so it's a double bonus for car 91 with Ivan Ekelschik at the wheel. They are based near Vienna, and they've been in the ADAC GT4 series since 2023. The bosses are Felix and Max Wimmer, the brothers, do a great job. They have also another car on the grid with an all-Austrian lineup in the shape of Philip Dietrich and David Lackner. You can see the instructions have been given to start the engines and to get ready for what will be an hour of racing ahead of us in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Jan Marszałkowski on that pole position. His best result of the season so far has been a 5th place, but keep an eye on the BWT cars. Mark Di Fulgentio in the number 18 car and Mattis Plushkul in the number 8 car. We've got cameras on the drivers as well. The Mercedes have proven to be very strong here at the Red Bull Ring as well. We're running a little bit tight on the schedule, so it's time to get this going straight away. We have a guesting team here, Promo Drive from Rimini, the first Italian team to compete in the ADAC GT4 Germany, evaluating it for 2025. And we welcome car number 62, Benjamin Silvesterson, and Ugo Federico Bagnasco will be at the wheel of that car with Silvesterson starting, and it will be Bagnasco, who takes over for the second stint. Hits the starting grid. Let's have a look as we get ready for race 9. Jan Marszałkowski on pole position, Simon Birch alongside. That's going to be good. Even Equishik and Josef Knopp. Yet more Porsches on row 2 of the grid. Shades of Norrisring here. Gabriel Piana, championship leader, with Mattis Plushkall for company on row 3 of the grid. And on row 4, Mark Di Fulgenzio, another of the BWT Motorsport cars, with Max Kronberg for company. Then Senna Summerbell, another strong qualifying for the Jamaican, with Max Rosam alongside on row 5. Row 6, Tano Neumann and Adrian Rushny, who line up alongside each other. Another couple of Porsches. Then Jan-Philipp Springhoff in a different car and with a different partner for this race, with Marcus Eichscheller for company. Andreas Jochimsen and Niels Truger line up on row 8 of the grid. On row 9, the guesting Benjamin Silvesterson with Tim Reiter. Poor qualifying from him. David Lackner has Mo Ritson, who's no longer plague-ridden. He is back on the grid with Joe Warhurst and Damon Sazishin on row 11. And bringing up the rear, Lachlan Robinson for CV Performance Group. CV Performance, who were due to be fielding a car this weekend, but they had problems when they wheeled out the number 85 car, some fairly terminal problems. It means that Alex Connor is not racing this weekend, and Jan-Philipp Springhoff has replaced William Tregurtha in the number 86 car. So a bit of a change around there at CV Performance Group. Hopefully we'll have the full fleet of cars back when we reconvene at Hockenheim in a few weeks' time. So formation lap done. We are at the Red Bull Ring, a circuit that is 4.318 kilometers around, with 10 turns, 7 to the right and 3 to the left. The first ever pole for Jan Marszałkowski. Simon Birch, though, will be looking to beat him into turn 1. The team at the number 55, Eastside Motorsport, Zach Speed, has said they do not want rain. The car is dialed in, but if it's wet, they feel a lot less confident about it. So Jan Marszałkowski will be looking to the skies. He'll be looking to the lights as they turn green and they head towards turn 1. Jan Marszałkowski with a great start. Simon Birch already getting mugged by Even Equishik. Into turn 1 they come. Some of the cars are running wide into the runoff area. A bit of a squeeze for a BWT car, but everybody survives. Now it's turn 2. We call it a turn, but it's taken absolutely flat out. Then the steep climb up to turn 3 on board with David Lackner, the local driver from Austria. He's been looking forward to this all season long. Going wide is Max Rosam, going very deep in turn 3, losing an awful lot of positions. He's probably going to take out a billboard here, just avoids the billboard, but falls to the back of the pack, and it looks like he's got problems with that car. So the number 46 car in all sorts of problems. We're looking down at turn 4 at the moment. Jan Marszałkowski leading the way. The rest of the drivers fighting for position up and down the pack. I just saw Max Kronberg challenging for position further back as well, but Jan Marszałkowski appears to have this under control at the moment. Simon Birch in second place. Rest of the cars fighting through. Then is Even Equishik, Josef Knopp in 4th place, then Gabriel Piana, then Mattis Plushkall and Mark Di Fulgenzio. So into turn 8 we come, and then round to turn 9, getting ready to complete the first lap of the race. Good opportunity on this opening lap to gain positions, but also a good opportunity to throw it all away and end up in the gravel trap. After that difficult start, Simon Birch has managed to cement himself back into that second place. But out of turn 10 we come out onto the pit straight to complete the first lap of the race. A race that is 60 minutes plus 1 lap with a mandatory pit stop and a driver change. The pit window will open 25 minutes into the race. It will remain open for 10 minutes, and during that time every driver will need to come in for a mandatory stop and a driver change. Track limits are always an issue here at the Red Bull Ring. Drivers cannot run wide. If they cross the line, they may well pick up a penalty, and particularly in turn 10. Now a challenge for 3rd place to the inside. Josef Knopp in the very rapid number 31. Avia WMS Motorsport Porsche to the inside of Even Equishik. It's Porsche versus Porsche at the moment, fighting for the last of the podium positions. Further back, we're getting used to Jan-Philipp Springhoff in the new colours in the number 86 car. But Jan Marszałkowski at the moment has this under control. 3 abreast in towards turn 4. Everybody looks like they've made it, but fighting hard for all the positions. So the pit window will open 25 minutes into the race as we ride on board with Joe Warhurst. Had a tough qualifying session, but he's up to 17th place, and now the driver from Great Britain, always an entertainer here in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Tim Reiter has also made good progress, moving past Andreas Jochimsen. That'll be for 15th to 14th place in this race. There's Jochimsen in the number 77 BMW. The rest of the cars coming through at the moment, and there is Jan-Philipp Springhoff, who is weaving his way in the Mercedes. Mercedes very much has been the weapon of choice in GT Masters here this afternoon. Is that the case in the GT4 category? Well, we're going to find out. At the moment, the weapon of choice is the Aston Martin. The team at Eastside Motorsport and Zakspeed have been working so hard to get that car dialed in, and already we can see that he's opened up a gap of well over 1.3 seconds. Simon Birch looking under pressure from third place. Even Eccleshick having a look to the outside into turn 3. But Josef Knopp is ready to jump if he sees an opportunity in the background. Gabriel Piana could potentially wrap up the championship this weekend, but he cannot afford to record a non-finish. So maybe treading a little cautiously. He's being lined up in the background by Mark Di Fulgentio in the pink and white Mercedes. Behind Di Fulgentio is his teammate Mattis Plushko in 7th place, and they are ahead of Max Kronberg in 8th. Our race leader opening up a gap at the front, and as long as Simon Birch is having to defend from even Eccleshick, then it's allowing Jan Marszałkowski just to stretch his legs a little bit. So the rest of the cars filing around. Simon Birch holding on to that 2nd place. He was such an entertainer, particularly in the streets of the Norris Ring. Even Eccleshick has experienced the top step of the podium. He fancies a little bit more of that. So he is pressuring hard for position. But keep an eye on Josef Knopp. That number 31 car in 4th place is very quick as well at the back of that queue. Needless to say, Gabriel Piana is quick, the championship leader, a very experienced driver. And Gabriel Piana, who is, for this race, carrying an extra 15 kilograms of success ballast. And that is on account of winning last time out at the Nürburgring. So that extra weight will be affecting the BMW. This is the view towards turn 1. It is a steep climb up to turn 1. And that is what it looked like at the start of this race. You can see Max Rozam out wide. Now he's still, according to my information, I think he is still running out on track, but you can see that is where potentially a bit of contact, maybe a bit of damage, but Max Rozam getting spat out of the pack on turn 3. The view from Mattis Plushko, and that is the person that the collision was with. That's Mattis Plushko, and you can see the impact was enough to snatch the wheel out of the hand of Mattis Plushko, and you get the feeling that car number 46 is ailing quite badly. No, it is parked up. I believe Max Rozam is parked up. Yes, he is. So confirmation, the car 46 is indeed out of this race. Leighton Fury is not going to get a drive of that car this afternoon. Right, windscreen wipers on Mattis Plushko's car. I don't think there's any rain in the air at the moment. There is damage to Gabriel Piana, so he's clearly been in the wars as well. But so the windscreen wipers are indeed on Mattis Plushko. In fact, there is looks like a few spots of rain on the windscreen. That's not what Jan Marszałkowski wants to see. He needs it to stay dry for another 53 minutes. Well, there's a puddle, and there is conclusive proof that the rain is starting to come down. It's nothing heavy at the moment, certainly not enough to warrant wet weather tyres. But Marszałkowski will want to open up that gap as much as he can over Simon Birch. The gap at the moment is 2.787 seconds. You can see that race control have declared it as a wet race, so the teams may put the drivers onto wet tyres if they so choose. Josef Knopp once again challenging even Eccleshick into turn 3. Takes the wide outside, doesn't really make it stick at the moment, but now challenging him out of turn 3 towards turn 4. Porsche versus Porsche versus Porsche. Josef Knopp with his nose ahead. This is for 3rd place under braking. Into turn 4, Eccleshare coming back though, not taking that wider line, leaving himself a little bit vulnerable to Gabriel Piana behind, then Mark Di Fulgentio, Matis Plushkal, Max Kronberg in 8th place as well. So we've got one eye on the skies. Certainly not enough rain to cause a problem at the moment, but it has been hammering down here on and off over the last few days. Monsoon conditions on Friday, and it will be really good if we get this race run without any dramas with the weather. Dramas for car number 8, Matis Plushkal, has had a track limit infringement at turn 1, also car 30 and 31. So Josef Knopp and also Max Kronberg have had warnings for track limits, primarily at turn 1. For Josef Knopp, it was at turn 3, and that was the move that we saw where he went very wide. And any more of that, and the stewards may well issue a penalty of some sort. But Josef Knopp was the quickest of anybody in Sector 1 on the previous lap. So he's got a lot of pace in that Porsche. He does not need to be recording track limits issues. And once again, pulling alongside Ivan Eccleshare around turn 2. The two cars running side by side, back up the hill towards turn 3. Josef Knopp on the outside, needs to keep it on the track this time. Gabriel Piana fancies trying to take both of them, but instead leaves himself vulnerable to Mark Di Fulgentio. Fulgentio pulling alongside the BMW. So Mark Di Fulgentio looking to steal away 5th place from championship leader Gabriel Piana. Piana once again will be thinking of the championship. He can't afford to make contact and record a non-finish. It looks like he's going to lose that position to the Mercedes. Now Matis Plushkal fancies a go as well as the squeeze is put on Piana. Plushkal coming through. So both of the BWT Motorsport Mercedes cars coming through. Now Max Kronberg also challenging Gabriel Piana for that position. So Piana losing an awful lot of places on this lap. We've still got 50.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. The weather could play a part in it. Jan Marszałkowski has opened up a 3.245 second gap at the lead of this race over Simon Birch. Then it's Ivan Eccleshare. Then it's this battle here. Josef Knopp, Gabriel Piana, Mark Di Fulgentio, Matis Plushkal, but Piana now having been overtaken by the two pink Mercedes. In the background, now Adrian Rushny rushing to get involved as well in the Razzoon More Than Racing car, and that's one into the gravel. That is Niels Truger for FK Performance Motorsport. This could be a disaster for Jan Marszałkowski, because this will almost certainly bring out a safety car. That 3.5 second lead that Marszałkowski has will be reduced to nothing if the safety car comes out. Safety car is out, so the cars are going to have to pause the overtaking, for want of a better word, into turn 3. Max Kronberg is able to drop back in front of Adrian Rushny, but disaster for Jan Marszałkowski. He wanted to build up as big a gap as possible before he handed over to his teammate Philip Gogolok. We saw Philip Gogolok challenging for the lead at the Nürburgring, and he got turned around while challenging for the lead. We thought we were going to see a first win for the number 55 car, but contact from another car that turned Gogolok around, and he will be taking over the number 55 car when the pit window opens, and Marszałkowski would love to have gifted him a nice 3.5 plus second gap, but that's not going to happen because the safety car is out and all the gaps will reduce to nothing, because car 49, Niels Truger, is going to need to be retrieved, and the South African Joseph Ellerine is not going to get a drive in that car this afternoon. You can see the rain on the windscreen of Joe Warhurst's car for the FK Performance Motorsport. He saw his sister car into the gravel trap. So the safety car out. Cars now coming back to a slower pace. There is the safety car, waiting for Jan Marszałkowski. So after such a strong start from pole position, the two things that Jan didn't want were rain and a safety car. At the moment, he's got both, but still plenty of time to keep this one together. So out up towards turn 3 we come, and that gap that he worked so hard to build reduced to nothing. Simon Birch is able to close up. Even Eccleshare, Josef Knopp. Then Mark Di Fulgentio, Mattis Plushko, Gabriel Piana. I've got an incident on the screen between 29 and 32 under investigation. We don't have a number 29, but 32, Senna Sommerveld and Thomas Gore, who, having jumped in behind the wheel of an ADAC WMX Motorsport Porsche, have been absolutely reborn, have shown such great pace. 10th place at the Nürburgring doesn't really demonstrate what the two Jamaicans can do. They were really, really quick at the Nürburgring, really enjoying themselves at the wheel of that Porsche. At the moment, Senna Sommerveld down in 16th place, but it's under investigation by our race stewards for an incident involving them and another car, but I can't confirm who the other car is. I think it's meant to be 49, so I think it may be that the race stewards believe it was them that got involved, and that is Jan-Philipp Springhob, also parked up at the side of the track. So Jan-Philipp Springhob, who is in the championship hunt, albeit a remote 8th place, some 96 points back, but he has also retired from the race and exited stage left. All sorts of dramas and traumas at Data Lab Sports with CV Performance Group. As I mentioned earlier, they wheeled the Jan-Philipp Springhob Alex Connor number 85 car out for this event and had a fairly terminal problem and had to do a bit of juggling. So William Tregertha has got the weekend off, and Jan-Philipp Springhob has taken his seat alongside Emil Jerdrum in the number 86 car. But it doesn't look like Emil is going to get a drive this afternoon because 86 is parked up at the side of the track as well. So safety car is out. There is Jan-Philipp walking away from the car, probably fairly fed up with whatever has occurred there, and he will go to safety. I think the car is in a reasonably safe place. It's up between turns 3 and 4, so I don't think we'll need any interventions to get that car moved. But certainly there it is there, so it doesn't look like the marshals are rushing to move it. We've got one eye on the sky still. The temperature is down to 12.8 degrees centigrade. Certainly not wet enough to require wet weather tyres at the moment. We are about 5 minutes away from the pit window opening as well, and I reckon that Jan Marszałkowski will want to run as late as possible into the pit window before he hands the car over to Philip Gogolok to try and build up as big a gap once again over Simon Birch, who will be handing over to Denny Berndt, the Razzoon More Than Racing Porsche. Razzoon More Than Racing fielding several cars here, not just Porsches though, also the BMW, and it's great to have Damon Sazishin from Canada back in ADAC GT4 Germany this year. He's joined late in the season, a steep learning curve at the best of times, but in a car that he's not familiar with, a BMW as well. He's currently in 20th place, doing a solid job in the Trophy Championship. Learning an awful lot as he goes as well, but very much enjoying the Red Bull Ring, this legendary circuit. That's the view from turn 9 out to turn 10. I reckon, oh, they are going to move Jan-Philipp Springhob's car as well before we go back to green flag racing. That's not going to take very long, is it? So I reckon next time around we will probably be at racing speed. We're 4 minutes away from the pit window opening, and it's during that window every driver will need to pit and surrender the car to their teammate. There is a minimum pit stop time of 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. If you go below the minimum pit stop time, then you will pick up a penalty. So, Jan Marszałkowski still at the front, clearly, because we're behind the safety car, and as predicted, it is going to be in on this lap. I don't think Jan Marszałkowski has ever had a season where he has not won at least one race. We've seen him win in Pro Cycle Cup Germany, we've seen him win in GT Masters, we've certainly seen him win in GT4 Germany, which is why I had to double check it was his first pole position. This year, he has got 4 races left in which to take a win. This is his best opportunity because he's in that #1 position at the moment. The team have worked night and day to get that Aston Martin dialed in. They've had issues with the brakes, they've had issues with the handling. Finally, they've got it together here at the Red Bull Ring. But Simon Birch wants to ruin the party in the number 10 Razzoon More Than Racing Porsche Cayman, and even Eccleshare, along with teammate Ferdinand Winter, would dearly love to repeat their first race win that they scored at the Nürburgring, the very race in which Philip Goglock did get spun out, having been in contention for a race win. Right, safety car lights are off, and now Jan Marszałkowski's done a fair few of these over the years. He becomes the de facto safety car. He controls the pace. He will decide when to hit the accelerator. The only rules are he must not overtake the safety car, and nobody can overtake until they reach the start-finish line. But he will decide when to go. He can weave as much as he likes, and then he will hit the accelerator. Simon Birch just focused on the job in hand of anticipating Jan Marszałkowski's acceleration, and he's done that well. Into turn 10, they come to get the green flag and back under racing once again, and out towards turn 1. This field of cars snaking their way in towards turn 1. Simon Birch having a little look to the inside. Jan Marszałkowski taking the wide racing line, but he gets it wrong under braking. We knew there were issues with braking, or is it a puncture? Jan Marszałkowski into the runoff area. Now, has he got a flat tire, or is it the brakes? But we saw the car just snaking under braking. It's going to have to be a wait for that race win for Jan Marszałkowski, because our new race leader is Simon Birch. Even Eccleshare up into second place. But what has happened to Jan Marszałkowski after such a strong showing? Our championship leader, Gabriel Piana, challenging the BWT Muka car, the number 8 of Matis Plushkal. That is for 6th place. Make that 5th, because we've lost car 55. A penalty laps 3 times for causing a collision for Senna Summerbell. That's a disaster. He'll have to pass through the penalty box, a 50-meter box. He'll have to pass through it at no more than 50 kilometers an hour. It's painted off the racing line on the exit of turn 3, but that is the equivalent to adding, each time you pass through, about 5 seconds. That's going to add 15 seconds to his lap time and drop him to the very back of the pack. But our new race leader, Simon Birch, in car number 10. Their best finish so far was a 2nd place at the Norris Ring, where he was so entertaining. It's Porsche 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Simon Birch, even Eccleshare, and Josef Knopp. We are about 5 minutes away from the pit window opening. It's funny, I thought I said that 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes away from the pit window opening. That is when the cars will need to come in for a mandatory stop and drive change. Joe Warhurst moving his way up forwards as well, up into 13th place. Good solid drive from somewhere near the back of the pack, but having to defend very hard indeed from Andreas Jochimsen. So let's have a look. Where's Jan Marszałkowski? Well, there is his car. There is Jan looking on, thinking about what might have been. So what happened here? You saw the car just under braking, and well, the tyres are all up. I wonder whether they've got an issue with the brakes, because it has been a running theme with that car all season long. It was coming into turn 1. He touched the brakes at the car with a lot of speed, and he kept it out of the fence. But we'll find out what the problem was. And there's Philip Goglock, and oh, the frustration. What else does he need to do to get onto the top step of the podium? Philip knows that he's not going to get a drive this afternoon. Spoiler alert, tomorrow's race, he starts somewhere near the front, because they qualified for that earlier today as well. So he will get another shot at it, but maybe not as good as he's had today. But clearly a mechanical issue is what has caused the problem. Tim Reiter had a poor qualifying this morning, but has fought his way back through the pack up into P11. So fighting hard in the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW. But good job there. Marcus Eichler really with nothing to offer that car. In towards turn 9 and 10 we come, keeping to the inside of those bollards. That is where the track limits are. Some drivers getting exceptionally close. Our race leader, Simon Birch, about half a second over even Eccleshare. But Eccleshare has got Josef Knopp filling his mirrors, and along with Finn Zulauf, will be a factor in this race all the way to the end. Mark Di Fulgentio, Matis Plushkal in 4th and 5th. Then Gabriel Piana down in 6th place, trying to come back now around turn 2. It is Mercedes versus BMW. Piana to the inside of turn 2, then up towards turn 3. A little bit of attack between the two, nothing too traumatic. Still, Plushko holds on to 5th place. And Gabriel Piana having to try again as they head towards turn 4. Good overtaking opportunity here into turn 4, under braking. And that is exactly where Josef Knopp is having a look at Ivan Ekelschik into 4, under braking behind them. Also a challenge for position as Adrian Rushny, who makes a move on Max Kronberg, makes it stick. And that is for 7th place. Behind them, Tano Neumann and the very rapid Tim Reiter, who will soon be up with the sister car of Gabriel Piana. Such is the pace in the number 3 BMW. 37.25 minutes remaining of this race 9 of the season for ADAC GT4 Germany. We are about 3 minutes away from the pit window opening. It feels like the longest 5 minutes I can remember. There is that little bit of contact between Gabriel Piana and Matis Plushko, the two cars heading up towards turn 3. Let's have a look at what else is going on. Well, Marcus Eichler is down to 11th. Mo Ritson, as I mentioned earlier, was laden with the plague when we met last time in the Nürburgring, and had Max Osten in the seat. He is back behind the wheel and loving every minute of it in 12th place. Joe Warhurst, another of the British drivers, also in 13th place. He's doing a good job. Andres Jochimsen, Lachlan Robinson, also in the 84 car. He is behind them. And David Lackner on his local track in 16th place. Right, looking down from turn 3 once again. And the 91 car of Ivan Ekelschik almost pushing Simon Birch around turn 3. This is for the lead of the race. Simon Birch, Ivan Ekelschik, Josef Knopp. There is nothing between the 3 Porsches that are leading the way into turn 4. Once again, you get the feeling this could all kick off at any moment. Just behind them, Marky Fulgentio, Matis Plushko, Gabriel Piana, all very much in the hunt. They've broken clear of Adrian Rushny, who now has Max Kronberg coming back on to challenge him for 7th place. There is Max Kronberg, who is ahead. Rushny looks to have some problems as he's dropped back into the clutches of Tano Neumann as well. But this is the fight we are interested in at the moment. And there's Rushny. He's lost a couple of places there. This is the fight for the lead. We are 25 seconds away from the pit window opening. There's Matis Plushko on board with him. In towards turn 9 we come. The Ray still spitting, but holding on. A little clip of the marker for Ivan Ekelschik. That's about as far as he's going to be able to push it before any kind of penalty is incoming. In towards turn 1. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all nose to tail. Brilliant stuff. The pit window is open, so now the strategy will start to be rolling out. The teams will be doing the calculations. Can they get the drivers in and get them out on clear track? Can they do an undercut? Who is the fastest of the 2 drivers? Will they be able to maximize it? All the calculations will be going on as we look down at turn 3. Once again, the leading pack of cars, the top 6 all running together. Then a gap back to Max Kronberg, Tano Neumann, then Tim Reiter, then Adrian Rushny, Marcus Eichler in there as well. And then a gap back to Mo Ritson in that 12th place. So, pit window open. Who is going to be the first to blink? The leaders around turn 4 and 5 at the moment. And still, the challenges continue up and down the pack. Adrian Rushny trying to come back at Tim Reiter, but that BMW has proven to be mighty. Of course, tyre wear is an issue. When they come in for their mandatory stop, tyre changes are not permitted, so if the driver has taken too much out of the tyres early on in the race, the co-driver may feel the full effects of that later on. But at the moment, everybody looking good. Simon Birch leading the way by less than half a second over Ivan Ekelschik. Around at turn 9 and 10 come our race leaders. This is the fight further back for 7th place. Behind Tano Neumann as Tim Reiter. The BMW putting the pressure onto the Porsche, stays inside the markers and out onto the pit straight once again. Nobody has chosen to pit. One has now. Car 71, David Lackner, has peeled off into the pits and he will be handing over to Philip Dietrich. Both these drivers have been looking forward to this round. They're both Austrian pilots, both very rapid. The Austrian pilots in the Austrian team at the legendary Austrian circuit. What more could you want? You just saw Philip Dietrich there, poised and ready for action. He leaps out of the garage. He's going to tear David Lackner out of the car. He's into the seat. There's no major rush because they've got 95 seconds for pit entry to pit exit, but the heart rate will be high. It will be beating hard as Philip Dietrich gets behind the wheel of the distinctive orange and white Porsche. The rest of the field staying out on track, so only one car so far to have blinked in terms of the pit window. Everybody else staying out late, and it may well be the teams are keeping cars out late because if they need to change to wet weather tyres, and they would be able to change to wet weather tyres if the rain increased without picking up a penalty, it may be that they're trying to stay late in the window so that if it does start raining, they don't have to make a second pit stop. They can do the whole lot together, but no such traumas for David Lackner and Philip Dietrich. They are into the pits. They've committed. The pit window remains open for another 7 minutes. Here's our race leader. He's broken clear just very slightly from even Eccleston. Across the line they come. The gap is 0.8 of a second. So Simon Birch has found about 0.3 of a second over second place because even Eccleston now has his mind occupied with Josef Knopp in third place. But Josef Knopp desperate to make a challenge, but if he moves to the outside of the car in front, you know that Mark de Fulgente will be ready to jump. Right, Mo Ritson into the pits, and it's Yanni van der Kratz who will be getting ready to jump into the seat of the number 48 FK Performance BMW. So Mo Ritson's work is done for the day. He'll be able to watch from behind a cushion at the back of the garage while his teammate brings the car home. Avon Rushni still fighting his way, trying to find a way back past Tano Neumann. Clearly had a bit of a moment early on, and now they're running absolutely side by side. This is for 9th place. Out towards turn 4 they come under braking. The last of the late breakers. Who's going to do it is Rushni with the advantage at the moment. Gives the squeeze to Tannoy Neumann, and Rushni back through into that 9th place. Marcus Eicheller in the background. Marcus, who is the team boss of ME Motorsports, sharing driving duties with Philip Viskirchen. A very welcome addition to the ADAC GT4 Germany. So, race leader Simon Birch still out on track at the moment. I've got one eye to see who has been pitting. Mo Ritson, Damon Suzishin, another into the pits. He is handing over to Jan Matthias, the Czech driver. The two of them in the Razzoon More Than Racing BMW. Out of turn 10 once again. There's a few more now peeling off into the pits. I can see that Marcus Eicheller is getting ready to hand over to Philip Viskirchen, and there are some others peeling off as well. Tannoy Neumann, who will be handing over to Alon Gabet. Meanwhile, the lead bunch stay out on track. Simon Birch, he's opened up a bit of a gap. This is going to be a big gamble when to come in for your stop, because it gives drivers an opportunity to perform the undercut if you present them with an open track. Even Eccleston taking a very wide line into turn 3. You heard the car vibrating on the rumble strips, and car 71, who did have a warning at turn 3, his teammate on that same turn for track limits. There we go. The lead battle, first, second, third, fourth, fifth and 6th. Piana now starting to look a little bit impatient. He's got nobody behind him challenging hard at the moment, so he's going to put the pressure on to Mattis Plushkull just ahead of him. But remember, they all need to come in for their mandatory stop and driver change. We've still got 14 cars that are yet to make that stop. So, just the last of the drivers to have not pitted. Senna Summerbell, well, he had those 3 trips to the penalty box. He's about 3 working days behind the car in front of Lachlan Robinson. So, an indication that he's going into the pits now for Josef Knopp, telling the drivers behind he's going to be peeling off. Look at the slide from Mattis Plushkull. That was a bit lastminute.com. They might have had a helping hand there, but he peels off into the pit lane. So, this is going to be significant. Car 31, Josef Knopp, getting ready to hand over to Finn Zulauf. Finn, who is incredibly quick. Mattis Plushkull getting ready to exit the car in a hurry. Luca Bosco, the Italian, will be standing by in the BWT Mucca Motorsport pit, ready to jump into the wheel of car number 8. Here comes Luca Bosco, and he helps Mattis Plushkull out of the car. and he jumps in himself, taking the seat insert. Of course, each driver with a different build. Get stuck in with your foot, get the seat insert in. Luca Bosco into the seat of the car. He has a great fan club. One of his very young fans giving him a little bracelet yesterday. A really kind of moving moment, actually. And you realise that there are so many fans watching these drivers, real heroes out on the track, real gladiators doing their thing here at the Red Bull Ring. And now Luca Bosco taking the wheel of the car. Here comes Finn Zulauf. He will be very quick as he takes over from Josef Knopp in car number 31. Remember, they know how to win. They've done it at the Norris Ring, and Finn Zulauf, a winner in last year's GT4 Championship as well. Simon Birch still remaining out. Even Eccleshare, Mark Di Fulgentio up to third. Gabriel Piana up to fourth. But of course, they need to make their pit stops. Incident between 2 and 8 under investigation. That'll be Gabriel Piana, and that would be Mattis Pluskal with that pit entry moment, I expect. Right, Zulauf is on the move. Tommy Rackle has taken over from Andreas Jochimsen in the number 77 car. Here comes Finn Zulauf out on the track now. The rest of the cars are coming in for the pit because time is running out. Just a minute and 3/4 remaining of the pit window. Simon Birch is in at the last minute. Di Fulgentio's in, Piana's in, Kronberg's in, Reuter is in, Ruchni's in, Warhurst is in, Silvesterson is in as well. They're all pouring into the pits. Only even Eccleshare is still to pit in the number 91 car. He's up at turn 3 at the moment. Needs to get a skate on. I think he'll be able to make it round to the pit entry before the clock strikes 0, but certainly not allowing for any mistakes. Our race leader, new race leader at the moment, even Eccleshare, extracting everything he can out of his stint. He's currently up at turn 4. He's got 1 minute to make it round to the pit entry. So the drivers on the BWT and Mucko Motorsport pit make the change. That was Mark Di Fulgentio walking back to the garage. Now taking over car number 10, Denny Burnt. A lot of responsibility on the shoulders of car number 10, looking for their first win in ADAC GT4 Germany. So we will see how that shakes out. The leading stopper at the moment is Finn Zulauf, coming around turn 10 as we speak. So let's have a look. Finn Zulauf currently out onto the pit straight. There are the stoppers on the move. Where is car number 10 going to be? Well, he's rolling into the pit lane. He has to keep to the speed limit until he hits the pit exit line. So car number 10 with Denny Burnt at the wheel is going to come out just in front of Finn Zulauf, but Zulauf will be up to temperature and up to speed. And I wonder whether Denny Burnt is going to be vulnerable going into turn 2. In the background, BWT Mucko Motorsport versus Hope for Racing by Bonk Motorsport. Mikael Stray has taken over from Gabriel Piana up into turn 3. They come. It's Stray at the moment. Luca Bosco, though, putting the pressure now out towards turn 4. Bosco alongside the BMW. A drag race towards turn 4 now. Bosco with his nose in front. Finally, even Eccleshare into the pits. Handing over to Ferdinand Winter. You see the smoke pouring from the brakes. That's how hard he's been driving. But he's got in, I think, before the pit window closed. So that's good news for everybody. Ferdinand Winter now in the seat. A few little tips, a few little messages to be given. But at the moment, Denny Burnt is leading the way in car number 10. He's managed to hold off Finn Zulauf. Can he continue to do that? Finn Zulauf, a very experienced pilot in ADAC GT4 Germany. This is his 35th race. He's won 3 times. He won at Hockenheim in 22, Lausitz Ring last year, Norris Ring this year. Denny Burnt, it's his first year in ADAC GT4 Germany. He had that 2nd place at the Norris Ring. He's never stood on the top step of the podium in ADAC GT4 Germany. Ferdinand Winter is rolling as well into the pit lane. I don't think he's going to be a factor in the top 2 as they come around turn 1 at the moment. In the 3rd place at the moment, Enzo Juliet, car 18. He's taken over from Mark Di Fulgentio. So around to turn 2 we come. And in fact, he does slot in just in front of him. So Ferdinand Winter into 3rd place. So there's 1st, 2nd, 3rd and fourth and fifth and sixth. After the pit stops have been done, they're still all running together on the track. This is going to be an entertaining 23 minutes. There's Gabriel Piana looking on. He did everything that he could. To remind you, that car had an extra 15 kilograms on board of success ballast as a result of winning last time out at the Nürburgring, which has not helped in terms of a pace, but they've got the championship to think of. First, second, a challenge for third. Now, it is Enzo Juliet challenging Ferdinand Winter for that third place, sweeping round with relative ease. I think it's fair to say Enzo Juliet, probably the more experienced of the two drivers. Enzo Juliet, this is his 21st race in ADAC GT4 Germany. Ferdinand Winter, well, he's done, this is his 33rd race, but he's not had as much experience towards the front of the field. So in a very competitive car, probably for the first time in his GT4 career, but unable to hold off Enzo Juliet, who moves up into that third place. That Mercedes, always very strong, and with Enzo Juliet at the wheel, along with Mark Di Fulgentio, always a factor. They won at the Lausitz-Ring back in May. They had a second place last time out. That means that they are carrying an extra 10 kilograms of success ballast as a result as well. Ferdinand Winter just dropping back. Right, look at this for the lead. First and second, Finn Zulauf flashing the lights. Can Denny Burnt hold on for another 21.5 minutes? This is just his 9th race ever in ADAC GT4 Germany, and he's up against a driver who's done 35 races in this class in the shape of Finn Zulauf and knows how to win. There's Gianni van der Kratz fighting his way through the pack. Philip Viskerschen just ahead of him, and Daniel Drexel. Daniel, who's taken over from Adrian Ruchny. Their best result of the season so far has been a 14th place. So a 10th place finish for them would be a bit of a result, but there's an awful lot of pressure coming from behind in the shape of Philip Viskerschen, and Gianni van der Kratz looking very useful indeed in the FK Performance BMW, having taken over from Mo Ritson. Currently in that 12th place, Tom Edgar, a little way back from them in 13th place. Tom Edgar also in an FK Performance BMW. Great team. They bring cars to ADAC GT4 Germany. They've also got cars in GT Masters. They need a car transporter to get them all here. Great supporters of everything ADAC, with some great drivers at the wheel of their BMW. None more so than Gianni van der Kratz, who is putting the pressure onto the brand colleague, but certainly not the teammate, Philip Viskerschen, just ahead of him. Right. Race leader Denny Burnt back 7/10 ahead. This is the battle for 10th place. Daniel Drexel there. Philip Viskerschen, Gianni van der Kratz, Tom Edgar just a little bit back there. You can see how hard they're pushing. Philip Viskerschen just snaking a bit under braking. There's our race leader. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So I'm just looking at championship positions here. Well, certainly the championship's not going to be decided in this race at the moment, but Michael Schrey currently in 5th place. So if he can remain in 5th place, he will earn 11 points. That will give him a total of 168. However, Finn Zulauf in 2nd place will give him an additional 20 points. That will move him to within 29 points of the championship lead, as Gianni van der Kratz finally finds a route pass into 11th place. If Finn Zulauf could find a route past Denny Burnt for the lead, it would make the gap between first and second in the championship just 24 points. Certainly would put the pressure onto Michael Schrey and Gabriel Piana, and would take the championship certainly to the last round. Here's the view on board with Tom Edgar. He's currently in 13th place, staring at Philip Viskerschen up ahead of him. He's about 1.2 seconds behind him at the moment. See what he can do to close in on Philip Viskersen just ahead. So fighting for those positions are there. The number 40 car, Daniel Drexel, in 10th place, going wide and opening the door, as Yanni van der Kras is a man on a mission. He and Mo Ritson have taken that BMW by the scruff of the neck and are moving on up. That is up into 10th place. A great job for the pilot of car 48, Yanni van der Kras. Also keep an eye on Tom Edgar. Very rapid indeed. Along turn 2 he comes. You get a feeling he can see those two cars in front and fancies a move on both of them. Daniel Drexel will be the first one in the Porsche, under braking towards turn 3. Daniel Drexel leaves a very tempting hole in the middle. He goes wide on turn 3, but Tom Edgar not quite close enough to fill the gap at the moment. Philip Viskersen just breaking away a little bit from this battle. But Yanni van der Kras has checked out, disappeared up the road in that 10th place, and now closing in on Alain Gabet, who is in 9th. Leon Wasserthurer ahead of him. He's taken over from Tim Reiter. And then ahead of him is Henrik Still, who's taken over from Max Kronberg. Henrik Still and Max Kronberg, the leading drivers who are also fighting for the trophy championship. In the trophy category, Max Kronberg is a trophy driver, even though Henrik Still is not scoring points for himself in that. He is scoring points for his teammates, if that makes any sense at all. There's our race leader across the line. Once again, the light is fading here at the Red Bull ring. It's overcast, it's dark, it's a bit chilly. It looks like the rain has held off for the moment. Still another 16 3/4 minutes just over. This is the race leader up the hill towards turn 3. Once again, Denny Burnt at the wheel, having taken over from Simon Birch. Finn Zulaf in 2nd place, having taken over from Josef Knopp. Then a gap back to Enzo Juliet, having taken over from Mark Di Fulgentio. Then Ferdinand Winter in car 91, having taken over from Ivan Ekelschik. Still challenges further back as well, and that is the championship leader who is challenging Mikael Schrey along with Gabriel Piana, the driver duo who won this championship in 2021. We don't have defending champions this year. Hugo Sassa, Mike David Orman moving on into other things this year. We've just seen Mike David Orman in GT Masters this afternoon. But they are the outgoing champions in the ADAC GT4 Germany. Will it be a new name on the trophy, or will it be a name from the past in the shape of Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Piana? Well, at the moment, 2nd in the championship, Finn Zulab and Josef Knopp are doing everything that they can to close in on that championship lead. To get past Denny Byrne would give them a 5-point increase to where they are now. 15.5 minutes remaining. Ferdinand Winter in that 4th place. Mikael Schrey, with the championship in mind, sees a gap on the inside, moves to the inside, and through he goes. So, Mikael Schrey going through to relegate car number 91. Ferdinand Winter relegated down a position, and yet more championship points will be coming the way of Mikael Schrey if things remain as they are, but he cannot afford to record a non-finish, so it's definitely zero risk for the pilot of car number 2. Out along turn 2 once again, up the very steep hill to turn 3. Ferdinand Winter fancies having another go back at the BMW, maybe stealing 4th place back again. But Mikael Schrey looks to have that covered off, and all he's done is left himself vulnerable to Luca Bosco in 6th place. Hendrik Still has joined in as well. Car 91, Ferdinand Winter has received a penalty lap, so that is going to drop him completely out of the equation for exceeding track limits. So the car in 5th place at the moment, the orange and white Porsche, is going to have to visit the penalty box. That's the equivalent to adding 5 seconds onto his lap time. That's going to drop him down to about 8th place, certainly out of contention for a podium, and that is for exceeding track limits. A warning has also been given to Finn Zulav for track limits, but it's just a warning at the moment. The squeeze been given to Hendrik Still as he tries to put a move over Luca Bosco. Luca saying, no thank you, not today, I'm holding on to this. He knows that the orange and white Porsche in front of him is going to be peeling off into the penalty box the next time around. At the moment, heading into turn 9. And it's on the exit of turn 3. The incident between the two cars that we just saw, car 30, Hendrik Still, and car 8, Luca Bosco, is under investigation by race control. We saw the elbows coming out, and race control might decide that they want to get involved in that fight as well. Out of turn 1, in towards turn 2, this is for the lead of the race. First and second, Denny Byrne. Finn Zulauf has a look to the outside. There's the penalty box painted on the track on the far left. There's third. Here comes fourth place Mikael Stray, now indicating he's going into the penalty box. Hazard lights flashing. Now Ferdinand Winter will peel off. No more than 50 kilometers an hour. That is going to hurt. And he'll get back up to speed. A challenge for the lead. Finn Zulauf finds a gap on the inside at turn 4. Muscles his way through. Relegates Denny Byrne down into second place. So Denny Byrne, who took over from Simon Birch, now losing the lead of the race. Finn Zulauf, who took over from Josef Knopp, taking the lead. Felt like it was always going to happen. Finn Zulauf, very experienced behind the wheel of that car, getting past Denny Byrne, who is enjoying his debut season in ADAC GT4 Germany. Meanwhile, Luca Bosco has Hendrik Still for company, and now he looks at the back of the Hendrik Still car, because Still is through. Hendrik Still helping his teammate Max Kronberg, who leads Tano Neumann, I could be able to say that by the end of the season, in the trophy rankings by 57 points. So Max Kronberg will score points. Hendrik Still will bring the car home, but Kronberg will score the points in the trophy championship. Now trying to get back up to speed. Ferdinand Winter still with the hazard lights flashing. He's forgotten to turn them off. I expect the team will probably tell him any second now. In towards turn 1, he's got more important things on his mind, primarily that Leon Wasserthurer in the BMW is trying to push his way through. He's done exactly that into turn 1. In the background, Alain Gabet in 9th place. Yanni van der Kras continuing his march forwards in 10th place. Philip Viscouch in 11th, then Daniel Drexel, Tom Edgar in 13th place. Matthias Salonen has just found a route up into 14th place. I think Philip Dietrich might have had a problem. He's in 16th at the moment, but he's been passed by Jan Matthias and Matthias Salonen. But Philip Dietrich in 16th at the moment that I can see. Quickest man on the track, Finn Zulauf. He has the quickest lap of the race. He has the lead of the race. And there's the leader in the trophy race. Hendrik Still, his co-driver Max Kronberg, who is leading the trophy championship. There is another look at that moment in turn 6, where the two cars had a little intimate moment, a little huddle with each other that saw car 30 propelled off in towards the gravel, and Luca Bosco really just defending for all he's worth that position. Hendrik Still has now found the route past. He's done that without any help from race control, but a bit of a moment there, and it would have taken a few moments to get the tyres clean. And then this is where Hendrik Still saw the gap on the inside. Luca Bosco didn't really put too much of a fight up there, and I'm wondering whether he has anticipated what the stewards might say and let car number 30 through. So he's been given a black and white flag for forcing car 30 off the track. So it's just a warning, but if he gets any more black and white flags, it might end up with a penalty. Finn Zulauf into turn 3 as confirmation of that black and white flag with 10 minutes remaining of this race. A thoroughly entertaining race for ADAC GT4 Germany. Denny Byrne in a fairly solid second place. Enzo Juliet some 2.8 seconds back in third place. Then Mikael Stray. Behind Mikael Stray is Hendrik Still, Luca Bosco, then this fight here, Leon Wasserthurer in 7th place with Ferdinand Winter and Alain Gabet in 9th place. Somewhere further back from then, Gianni van der Kras is about 4.4 seconds back from that battle in 10th place. Then it's Philip Viscouch, Daniel Drexel, Tom Edgar, Matthias Salonen and Jan Matthias rounding out the top 15. Philip Dietrich ahead of Tommy Gore after that car has been through the penalty box 3 times. Then in 18th place is the number 62 car, Ugo Federico Bagnasco, the driver from San Marino. He won the mini challenge in 2021. This is something a little bit different. Competed in the BMW M2 CS Cup last year, and now in ADAC GT4 Germany, along with his teammate Benjamin Silvesterson, making their debut in ADAC GT4 Germany. And great to have Promo Drive on the grid. We hope they're enjoying the experience. We hope they will be back for next season to maybe do a full season with us. Out across the line, Leon Vasserthura in that 7th place at the moment. So no challenge for Ferdinand Winter going into turn 1 at the moment. Alain Gabet, then Gianni van der Kratz. There is a challenge further back though. Daniel Drexel now under pressure from Matthias Salonen. Salonen up into 13th place. Just behind them is Tom Edgar. This is the view from the perspective of Tom Edgar. Around turn 2 we come absolutely flat out here. We won't hear him lift off. Better not. Up to the hill to turn 3 once again, taking a nice wide line. Daniel Drexel just having a little look at Matthias Salonen, but all that's done is left him vulnerable to Tom Edgar out of turn 3. Into turn 4 they will come. Another overtaking opportunity into turn 4, but time running out. 7 3/4 minutes, less than that of this race remaining. Matthias Salonen in the number 84 car to the inside of Daniel Drexel, so that will be for 12th place. And that'll be some valuable points for them too in the championship hunt. Vin Zulauf leading the way by 1.3 seconds from Denny Burnt, Enzo Julier, Mikael Schrey, then Henrik Still, Luca Bosco, Leon Vasserthura, Ferdinand Winter, Alain Gabet, and Gianni van der Kratz rounding out the top 10. Jan Matthias in car 20, just seen him go through in the blue and white BMW there. Had a baptism of fire at the Nürburgring, knows how it all operates now, so his 2nd ever weekend in ADAC GT4 Germany, doing a solid job in 15th place, and now starting to challenge Tom Edgar. Oh dear, 2 blue and white BMWs, like we need any confusion at all. Edgar going to defend along the pit straight in towards turn 1, but Jan Matthias looks to have the legs under braking into turn 1. He's going to steal that away, isn't he? So into 14th place, Jan Matthias, and Tom Edgar sees a very similar car slotting in front of him, and he is relegated down into 15th. Now, can he do anything about that as they head towards turn 2 and around to turn 3? This is the view from turn 4, and this is Henrik Still now challenging championship leader Mikael Schrey. Mikael Schrey, with the bigger picture in mind, does not want to get damage, record a DNF, but he wants to score as many points as he can. So Henrik Still in 5th place, challenging for that 4th place. A black and white flag for car 66, Philip Viskersen, that is for track limits. But Mikael Schrey having to explore all the limits of the track that he can to fend off the attention of Henrik Still. This is for valuable points for 4th place. Still, Henrik Still can't make it stick at the moment. He's still got 5.5 minutes out of turn 10. Who's got the most grunt as they come out of 10 along the pit straight? At the moment, the BMW looks to have the legs. Henrik Still flashing the lights in towards turn 1. Will he duck to the inside? He has a little look, then he goes back in behind the BMW. Now, who can hustle it around the corner best? Well, the BMW at the moment, but it's here out of turn 1 towards turn 2 that another opportunity may arise, picking up a slipstream. Towards turn 2 they come, ducking out of the slipstream just for a few moments, then back in. Henrik Still now making his move into turn 3. He sees the gap on the inside. Can he slow it down enough? He can, and he takes that position away. Mikael Schrey trying to come back, but Henrik Still will just creep across in front of the BMW, moving up into 4th place, relegating Schrey down into 5th place. Luca Bosco too far back to take advantage of any coming together of those 2 cars at the moment. 4.5 minutes remaining of this race. There's Luca Bosco that's gone through, then Leon Vasserthura, Ferdinand Winter, and then Alain Gabet. These 3 challenging for 7th place. Leon Vasserthura, the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW, just holding off Ferdinand Winter. Alain Gabet looking the most impatient of all of them at the moment at the back of that queue. But still, nothing changes behind them. Plenty of fighting going on. Gianni van der Kratz, though, he's about 4.083 seconds back. So not really close enough to get involved in this battle, but a solid drop from near the back of the grid, which is where the number 48 car started out of turn 10. Once again, out onto the pit straight. 3 3/4 minutes remaining of this race. Car 40, Daniel Drexel, with a track limit infringement at turn 3, up towards turn 1 once again. We come, still no change, still Finn Zulauf. He's opened up a gap of 2.33 seconds, 336 seconds over Denny Burnt. Enzo Juliet in a solid third place. The first, second and third looking reasonably locked in with a little over 3 minutes remaining. Hendrick still, though, with Mikael Schraver company in 4th and 5th. Then Luca Bosco, then this fight here. Leon Wasserthurer in 7th, Ferdinand Winter in 8th, Alain Gabet now putting the pressure on to the fellow Porsche on the outside into turn 4. Can he get it slowed down? That's the first trick. But Ferdinand Winter, knowing he could just let it drift to the outside of the corner, it's all part of the racing line, giving the squeeze to Alain Gabet, who has to drop back in that 9th place. 2.5 minutes remaining of this race. Fighting over the dregs of the points to a degree here, just in the bottom reaches of the top 10. Leon Wasserthurer has broken clear. Ferdinand Winter with Alain Gabet still trying to find a route past. Gianni van der Kratz about 3.7 seconds back, so closing in, but not fast enough of this battle. Just getting to the 2-minute mark. Our race leader out of turn 1. This is race 9 of a 12-race season for ADAC GT4 Germany. Now important to bring it home. Finn Zulauf will know this will boost his championship hopes, along with Josef Knopp, if things remain as they are, because the championship leaders will finish in 5th place and they will get 11 points. Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp will get a massive 25 points. So that'll be 14 points taken out of the lead of the championship if things remain now. 2nd place, Denny Burnt. 3rd place, Enzo Juliet. You can see the gap evolution. But we're now into the final 90 seconds of this race, plus 1 lap. So I reckon it's going to be a couple more laps, plus the one that we're on at the moment. Looking down at turn 4 once again. Feels like this has been going on for a long time. Car 91, Ferdinand Winter. Car 9, Alain Gabet. Challenging. This time he's got his nose in the gap. He's got the inside line. And now he's finally able to squeeze his way through. But suddenly that inside line has become an outside line. And Alain Gabet getting hung out to dry once again. But Ferdinand Winter fighting back for all he's worth. Gabet keeping his foot, keeping the pressure on, trying to hang it around the outside long enough to get the inside for the next. But he can't quite make it stick. And once again, Ferdinand Winter holds on for that 8th place. Brilliant stuff. What a great fight. Right, 30 seconds remaining of this race. So it'll be whatever remains of this lap and then one more before we see the checkered flag. Finn Zulauf looking to have everything covered off at the moment. He's got 2.684 over Denny Burnt. Out along the pit straight, once again we come. There's Leon Wasserthurer in a fairly solid 7th place now. Ferdinand Winter in a very not so solid 8th place. Alain Gabet challenging all the way. There's Gianni van der Kratz, who has been closing in, but not quick enough to get involved in this battle. But a sterling job for pilot of car number 48. So Ferdinand Winter into turn 3 once again. Can he hold on? Alain Gabet this time wrestles his way through out of 3 towards 4. The 2 cars that run side by side, and Alain Gabet now has that place taken away, but can he keep hold of it into turn 4? They come under braking. Gabet will now do exactly to Winter what he did to him, go nice and deep into the corner, this time getting the position, this time making it stick. 8th place now belonging to Alain Gabet, although Ferdinand Winter will no doubt be trying to pressure to steal it back in the final lap of this race, because it is just 1 lap that is now remaining for Finn Zulauf between him and the checkered flag. The final lap board is held aloft as car 31 races along the pit straight up the hill towards turn 1. There's Denny Burnt in second place. Enzo Juliet has been closing in about 9/10 of a second, but not quick enough to steal away that second place. There's Alain Gabet. Boy, did he have to work hard for that 8th place. And Ferdinand Winter is still not going to hand it to him on a plate. He's going to keep the pressure on all the way. Look at Gianni van der Kratz in the background, flashing his lights, trying to distract them. He still fancies a chance at some points. Behind Philip Viskersen and Jan Matthias. What great progress for car number 20. The Czech driver for Razun More Than Racing, who has been man on a mission through into 12th place at the moment, pressuring Philip Viskersen for 11th. Tom Edgar looks to be struggling for pace a little bit. That's Philip Dietrich, who slots in front of him for the last of the points-paying positions. Philip Dietrich, who really wants to do well in front of his home crowd at his home race in his home country. Finn Zulaf, though, is the driver who is leading the way on this, the final lap of the race, as we look down from turn 3. Looking at the perspective of Tom Edgar, getting his elbows out. Tommy Gore in there as well. So fighting for those last positions. Daniel Drexel was a part of that battle, but into turn 10 for the very last time in this race. Finn Zulaf will see the checkered flag. It will be a win for Finn Zulaf and Josef Knopp in car 31, their second win of the season. It's exactly what they need to propel themselves forwards in the point standings. A solid drive through into second place for Denny Burnt and Simon Birch. Good solid points there. Third place will go to Enzo Juliet along with Mark Di Fulgentio. Your 1, 2, 3. The fighting remains. Henrik Still, great drive for 4th place. Championship leader Mikael Schrey crosses the line, but he and Gabriel Piana points for 5th place. Then it's Luca Bosco with Matis Plushko, Leon Vassather and Tim Reiter. And there's a car that didn't quite make it to the finish. Philip Dietrich, after all that hard work on the very last corner. Was it Dietrich or was it Vintner? I think it might have been Ferdinand Winter then. I'm just going to see who it is who crosses the line. No, it is Dietrich. So Philip Dietrich, who at that moment, oh, what a shame. After all that hard work, made it to all but the very last corner of the race. The back end of the car turning around. He fortunately manages to avoid some great avoiding action there from Tom Edgar to come home in 16th place. But so close, and yet so far, this is what it's going to look like on board. And I should think Philip Dietrich would have had a big sinking feeling in his stomach. Also, David Lackner, who would have been watching on from the pits in the Wimmer Werk Motorsport garage. Such a shame. All the hard work looked like they were going to get points, but for that very last pesky corner. No such problems for Finn Zulaf, though. He and Josef Knopp taking the win ahead of Simon Birch and Denny Burnt, Enzo Juliet in 3rd place. So the 5th place for Mikael Schrey, that will move them up to 139 points by my calculations. It'll be 168 points for Schrey and Piana, and it'll be 139 points for Finn Zulaf and Josef Knopp. Those are my very dodgy workings out, and I beg your pardon, I know they're dodgy workings out. The gap is even smaller. 24 points is the gap. 144 points going the way of Finn Zulaf and Josef Knopp, and 168 to Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Piana. That's assuming my maths is reliable, and I have to tell you it's not, so we'll wait for official confirmation on that. But I believe the gap between 1st and 2nd, to summarise, is something like 24 points. So the championship's still very much alive and kicking. And if Finn Zulaf and Josef Knopp can do something similar tomorrow, this really will go down to the wire at the Hockenheim ring. You've been watching the rest of the results scrolling through while I've been waffling about points. All very important here in this, the penultimate round. But Enzo Juliet, along with Mark Di Fulgentio, a solid drive into 3rd place. They won at the Lausitz Ring back in May. They've had a couple of 2nd places. They can now add a 3rd place to that. In 2nd place, matching their best result of the year at the Nürburgring, Simon Birch and Denny Burns. But the car there's going to be at the top, the drivers who will stand on the top step of the podium for Avia WNS Motorsports. Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp take their second win of the season and propel themselves right back in to the championship hunt with just 3 races remaining. So into Parc Fermé, here comes our race winner. The Porsches have been looking so strong here all week during free practice and during qualifying. Here comes Josef Knopp. Just helping Finn Zulauf out of the car. Such a potent combination. We saw Finn with Daniel Gregor last year at the wheel of that car. This year, Josef Knopp has stepped up to the mark and proven to be just as quick. And you can see the relief, you can see the happiness on their face as they receive congratulations from the teams. Enzo Juliet, thumbs up. Marc Di Fulgentio, the very popular duo. Marc, who comes from Spain, and Enzo Juliet, the French driver, posing for the cameras. BWT Muka Motorsport, the legendary team. Great to have them in ADAC GT4 Germany. And a 3rd place, another solid finish. And we just wait for Denny Burns and Simon Birch as well to appear. And there they are. And there's Simon in the blue marked overalls. Denny, the taller of the two. Simon, who is a very busy man, keeps popping up in all sorts of series. Every time I see his name, he's featuring somewhere. These 2 drivers, real superstars, I would say, of the future. I would say superstars of the present, and really showing their worth in ADAC GT4 Germany. There's your race winners. Simon Birch has been competing in GT2 Germany with Razun, the Danish driver. Has been very quick there, so not just focusing on GT4 Germany. Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp. Just briefly celebrating. There is the legend, the heads up Muka Motorsports, and the aforementioned Peter Muka, watching on from the sides. Legendary personality, legendary team owner, and now paving the way for the stars to come through. Oh, interesting. So Simon just talking about some potential traction issues. I wonder if that's related to the Jan Marszałkowski moment that we saw into turn 1. We'll find out what happened to the number 55 car and let you know tomorrow. Not the end to the afternoon that they had hoped for. As the crowds gather now below at the podium, and we get ready to welcome the drivers onto the legendary Red Bull Ring podium. Always an absolute privilege to come here to the Red Bull Ring. This legendary circuit, Formula One circuit, always beautifully prepared, immaculate, wonderful facilities, and without a doubt, the most spectacular backdrop, certainly in ADAC season, and potentially one of the most spectacular backdrops in motor racing, period. I think Suzuka has a pretty good backdrop, but this one is pretty spectacular too. Driving in this morning, some of the mountains with snow on the peaks. The emergency services vehicles coming back. They've been out on duty around the circuit. The medics, the marshals, the stewards all do a fantastic job to make sure we can go racing. As we look again at Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp congratulating each other. Not that many years ago, I was commentating on Josef Knopp in Formula 4 Germany, and he decided to move from Formula racing into car racing. Was third in the 2024 GT4 Winter Series in the Pro-Am category. A very, very strong driver. And if I remember rightly, was at the wheel of Mercedes when he started off in GT4 Germany. Right, to the podium comes third place, Enzo Juliet with the glasses. No, not with the glasses, the one behind. The one with the glasses is Marc Di Fulgentio. And the distinctive BWT overalls. Denny Burnt and Simon Birch. That meant to be goggles. On to the second step of the podium. But another win and propelling themselves, trying to trip over the step, to the championship. The top step of the podium, a big haul of points. Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf and ADAC Motorsport will send one of their guys on to the podium as well to receive the team trophy. Hats off, it's time for the national anthem. So, national anthem done. I said I'd update you on the Jan Marszałkowski situation. It was a brake failure. Just had confirmation from his dad, Eric, and thank you for keeping us updated as we see the trophies presented to our race winner, Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf. The second place trophies to Simon Birch and Denny Burnt, but considering brake failure, good job by Jan Marszałkowski to keep that out of the barriers. Peter Weidinger presenting trophies to third place, Enzo Juliet and Marc Di Fulgentio, and a trophy being presented to the team as well. The wonderful gold bull, don't drop it, that's going to really hurt. Presenting those wonderful trophies. Anybody who's got any sense at all will now run for cover, because the photos precede the messiest part of the day, the celebrating, which will commence. The celebrating of race 9 of a 12-race season. It is now just 3 more races to go. One race tomorrow, and it takes place at 16:35 local time, and then it all comes to a halt at the Hockenheim Ring from the 18th to the 20th of October. ADAC GT4 Germany, the championship very much alive and kicking. Spectacular racing at the Red Bull Ring, and we're going to do it all again tomorrow. Will Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp be able to make it back-to-back wins? They will have the success ballast on board as well. So it's going to be a challenge, or will it be payback time for Jan Marszałkowski and Philip Gogelok? Will Denny Burnt and Simon Birch take the top step of the podium? What about the championship leaders, Gabriel Piana and Mikael Schrey? They want to come back in the points championship. We're going to find out tomorrow. Join us here at the Red Bull Ring for race 10 of this 12-race season. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
ADAC GT Masters und ADAC ADAC GT4 Germany. Also, schön, dass Sie dabei waren und wir freuen uns schon jetzt auf morgen und gleich auch noch auf Tobi Schimon mit Siegerehrungspart 2 und 3. Platz 2.